I know there's a lot of people that wanted a follow-up on this situation after chatting with Colin Moriarty about Circana research and how I don't necessarily trust the numbers that Matt Piscatella is putting out there. And because of a few reasons. If it was just impartial data that he was sharing, I'd be like, okay, there's not like an angle to this. He's just saying these are the sales datas. But when I see him saying it's doing good or it's great, it seems like there's an angle that he has and an agenda, which if it was proven to be accurate, I'd be like, okay, he's just saying it's great because it really is great instead of it's great because I hope people believe what I'm saying right now, which is the difference that we're having here. I said this Matt Piscatella fella peddling the Ghost of Yōtei is great line was the very same dude that was pushing the Star Wars Outlaws success line. The very same dude that peddled the Assassin's Creed Shadows has the best selling video game line. Oh, and let's not forget, the very same dude pushing that classic line, were Dragon Age the Veilguard's PC volume included, it would have placed higher on the best-selling titles chart, perhaps as high as third overall. And he called the launch good for Dragon Age the Veilguard. The launch of Dragon Age the Veilguard was anything but good. It was terrible. This game, this is the one where I had the insider at BioWare reach out to me and let me know that they were struggling to get past the million sales. Struggling. So you pathetic tard shills can go right ahead and miss me with your shiitake mushroom takes. This dude's rep is garbage. You only utilize him and his fraud outlet to push your false narrative. It's all disingenuous bullshit lies. Always has been. The internet never forgets. And I feel like it's very important for us to take a deeper look at what I was trying to explain to Colin that he clearly did not want to hear. But these games were all failures. Companies admitted afterwards they were, and he tried to say that they didn't. Despite lukewarm reception, Star Wars Outlaws is the third best-selling game of August 2024 in the US, per Circana report. Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws debuted at third place, while the top spot was taken by Madden NFL 25. Now, this is the thing with Circana research and the sales data and stuff like that. They do not tell you how many copies have sold. They do not tell you how much money was made from it. So they just say where it places, which is what I was trying to tell Colin when we were having our conversation about why you can't trust this outlet, because it's very easy to manipulate where things are just based off of the idea of it's third place. Well, what the hell does that even mean? Well, if fourth place sold 10 copies of something, third place would mean it sold 11 copies. That doesn't mean it sold a lot. It just means that it placed higher than others. And in 1 month, what are the other games that came out? There's so many variables. It's such a meaningless thing to say that it's like literally worthless to even talk about it, unless you're trying to push an agenda and try to prove you right and your naysayers wrong. Matt Piscatella on Blue Sky. Here's a fun one. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling video game in the US for each of its first 3 weeks in the market, according to Circana's retail tracking service. Dollar sales, latest data through April 5th. Currently ranks number 2 year to date, trailing only Monster Hunter Wilds. And then we have Rebecca Valentine, which those will remember, she was the one that pushed the fake Black Myth Wukong game science story with the mistranslations and never retracted the story. Yeah, that Rebecca Valentine. But Matt, I heard it was woke. Again, when I say these people are all in a cabal together pushing an agenda, if you do any research, you understand the people that are saying these things, it's a cult. And they all move together to push the agenda. We also have this one here this is Dragon Age the Veilguard. And this is the quote from Matt Piscatella. Were Dragon Age the Veilguard PC volume included, it would have placed higher on the best-selling titles chart. AKA, he's using funny words to say, well, if it just included this other thing, it would have been even better. That's how good it was. It's like, no, it wasn't good at all. It was terrible. This is something you say to try to sell additional copies. So people have FOMO. So people think, oh, I want to get what everyone else is playing. I don't want to miss out on one of the best games, a third overall that's selling. Oh my God. It never works, but they push it anyways. Matt Piscatella, the latest one. Within 1 week in market, the US sales performance of Ghost of Yōtei was basically flat to that of Ghost of Tsushima. It did great. The words that are used here are wild. Like, talk about tiptoeing through like lasers to try to get a narrative. Basically flat to that of Ghost of Tsushima. 1 week in the market in the US, not including digital sales from certain Nintendo titles. I mean, how many asterisks do we need to put in this? It's literally worthless to even say this, but it doesn't stop the shills from running with it and saying that this is like a massive own on the chuds or something. Kotaku posting his Blue Sky, September 2025, top 20 best-selling premium games, US dollar sales, physical and digital, from digital data sharing publishers, excludes add-on content. Holy shit, that is a mouthful to say that you have to qualify this infinite different ways in order to get, we all know why this was published the way it was, in order to get Ghost of Yōtei on the list, showing as number 4. Wow. Just don't pay attention to the digital sales not included for marked titles, digital sales on Nintendo platforms not included, which is a massive, massive deal. But because they're not provided, and Ubisoft, I believe, is not participating with this as well. So there's a lot of variables that are not included in this. So this is like, in the club of people that do participate with the sales tracking data, we're not allowed to give you the information based off of the sales, but based off of the curated group of people. These are the games based off of in the US that are physical, that have sold, that are digital, that have sold. It's like, holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, they removed like 90% of the sales just to try to prove a point, which is my frustration with all of this. Legacy Killer HD saying, a ton of people upset with Circana's report that said Ghost of Yōtei is selling huge. Last night, Colin Moriarty debated Smash JT. Colin argued the data is accurate, while Smash argued the data creates a fake image. Things got a bit heated. I'm not going to play this, but we have the entire conversation, if you want to call it that, on the channel. Check it out. Arthur replied, and Arthur is a developer, by the way. He says, hey, Colin, Circana also makes claims based on retail data in America, so it's useless, as you claimed yourself, for Europe and Japan. The reality is that Famitsu Japanese numbers can be relatively compared to any game. So anyone can check how Ghost of Yōtei compares to Stellar Blade or Assassin's Creed Shadows in Japan. Circana throws out misinformation to promote paywalled data. Very capitalist of them. But again, the way Matt Piscatella talks, don't let facts get in the way of a good narrative that they're trying to push. And this is one of the frustrations that I was dealing with the entire story when it came to this. And that was a banger post by Arthur. And I said, the reality is Ghost of Tsushima is vastly outperforming Yotei with the actual facts we can see. It is not even fucking close. Outside of the trust me bro crowd pushing a narrative so hard, they're going to give themselves hemorrhoids. And here is a chart that I created with ChatGPT saying, give me the Famitsu numbers, all the data we have, accurate information, and give me the direct sales comp between the available launch dates up to the point of Yotei being available. And it put it together. And this is Famitsu, so it's physical only, but still very telling, because I'd argue there's a direct correlation between, sure, they're obviously going to be selling more digital, but they're also going to be selling more digital for the other title as well. And all I was trying to say is, this is our best table to show the actual sales data of Ghost of Yōtei. And it is terrible compared to Ghost of Tsushima. Direct comparison, it's awful. Unless you're going to take the trust me bro of Matt Piscatella, which I do not. Like, sorry, I've been fooled before. I'm not being fooled by it anymore. With Dragon Age the Veilguard, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws. I do not trust the data based off of what they've said in the past and what they're doing again right now with Yotei. This is now the fourth time. Like, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me twice. How many times are you going to try to fool people? And I think it's interesting that we have people in the industry, shills, direct shills of the industry, that they will argue against all day. But sorry, I believe you to be a shill of the industry. After you come on and defend Piscatella and this Circana research and say that the numbers that he's providing are trustworthy because it fits the narrative that you're trying to push forward. And this is the problem. When you trust this, you get wrong information. And it proves to me that they are so desperate for a W that they were willing to go out of their way to come on a stream with me, berate me, talk about videos I've made and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, I'm just saying I don't trust this guy. I don't believe this information. I want this argument, the conversation, to be focused on what we were supposed to be talking about. Kata says, it's only okay for them to put out numbers or talk about games because they're toxically positive. And I want people to remember, too, game companies only participate with Circana because they expect Circana to be providing their game data sales in the most positive light possible. And if they look good, they're going to keep giving them the information. If they look bad, they're going to pull out of it. At the end of the day, this is all we have to work with in the United States, unfortunately. So I choose to just disregard it or laugh at it. I have other people trying to take this as a stand. It's like, no, where's Sony? They announced Tsushima's numbers right after it started blowing up. Where's Yotei? Why can't they do that now? And miss me with that shit that Sony's changed. Because if Yotei was blowing up, doing gangbusters, double the sales of Tsushima, you think Sony would be sitting on it saying nothing? Come on. Come on now. I think the reality is they're coping and they're trying to act like this game is doing great. Just trust the process. It's amazing. I don't think, by the way, I want to make sure we're clear about all of this before I end this video. I don't think Yotei is going to be a massive failure in terms of losing them money. I think it's going to be a massive failure relative to what Tsushima 2 would have been. And I stand by, Yotei will sell lifetime half the amount of sales of Tsushima. And it's because they went the direction that they did with the game, which is all I've been trying to say from day one with this. People are trying to say, oh, look at this. It sold 1.4 million. It's on pace to sell 2.4 million by the end of October 2025. Great. How much money did it make? Where is that relative to Tsushima? They always want to ignore the predecessor. This game should be selling more than the original, not half as much. That's a massive flop internally. I can tell you guys, Sony would not be happy with that if that is the case. And based off of the data that we have available from Japan, which is the only accurate data we can look at, it doesn't look great. And you can say, oh, Japan is not a good indicator for the rest of the world. Guys, might I remind you, ironically, in this situation, this game is based in fucking feudal Japan. If anyone was going to be buying it more, it would be people in Japan. It will all be vindicated when Sucker Punch eventually does have those layoffs, which I'm sure are coming. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but eventually. And when it does, we can look back at this video and say, man, Smash really called that, and he was 100% spot on. And I guess all that yelling Colin did on that conversation was just a bunch of hot air. Smash was right. Again, weird how that works. Anyways, I'll leave that there.